Hey there, I'm Frank Mitchell. On this channel, it's all about helping you understand your car and keeping it running the way it should. Whether it's routine maintenance or solving those tricky problems, I've got you covered. If you find this useful, give the video a like, hit that subscribe button, and be sure to watch till the end. You might learn something that saves you time and money. All right, let's get started.
A few days ago, I had the opportunity to take a walk through the Polytechnic University of Valencia, and specifically through the chair of thermal engines. It is no small thing. This is a reference center whose credentials are overwhelming. It is the research center with the highest university/company technology transfer in Spain, and inside it a multitude of companies take advantage of its facilities to test, improve, and validate technologies that we see in the automobiles of the future. With an annual turnover of almost 6 million euros, yes, turnover, all the money that comes in is reinvested in research teams and doctoral theses, contributing much more than what they receive from the state, since there is no profit motive. With this work dynamic, which has 40 years of history, they have managed to become one of the 10 most important thermal engine research centers in the world. It is an important contrast to read the daily information and news about the industry and the mono-theme of electrification, with what one finds in its corridors and test benches. Without going any further, during my visit I was able to see the tests of 3 automobile manufacturers, 2 of which are validating technologies for Euro 7 passenger cars or Euro 6 trucks. In thermal engines, those that have cylinders make sparks and treat gases. Who would have thought it, with all that is going on? Synthetic fuel production scheme, in this case diesel. Thermal engines continue to evolve and grow, but as they themselves say, being as the money is in other places, it makes no sense to start from a blank sheet a new engine, something that, by the way, they are doing, and soon you will be able to see on my YouTube channel. But what is really surprising is that within this almost suicidal policy of promoting electrification as the only technology for the future of private transport, before having a sufficient charging infrastructure and an affordable product cost, before treating a community as socially and economically heterogeneous as the EU with the same yardstick, they are shooting in an equally unfair way against synthetic fuels, not taking into account the energy base by which they have been produced. Currently, except for hydrogen, in the EU everything that is a hydrocarbon is penalized and does not have a cent of money for its diffusion or research. And this is a problem. It is a problem because the technologies for creating biofuels from CO2 and hydrogen have a gigantic potential, and they are also closely related to the development of renewable energies. So why discriminate them against energy storage systems, whose raw materials are still extremely expensive and volatile in the production phase? No one understands this, except them and the lobbies that have managed to turn the situation around and lead us into an impasse. The illustration is from transport and environment. Of course, for them, e-fuels are a waste of energy and very inefficient. The good news is that all this could soon change. How? Quite simply, by measuring emissions, at last, in a fair way, or in other words from the well to the wheel. Paradoxically, something that the promoters of the electric car have been asking for a long time to demonstrate its superiority, may be the salvation of the thermal engine. How? Techniques to capture CO2 from the car itself or from the atmosphere, and the use of hydrogen generated with surplus renewable energy, can bring in the future private vehicles whose carbon footprint is even negative, in 2 ways: CO2 absorbed from the environment, and even the purification of the air through which they pass, by capturing CO2 from the exhaust. This sounds like science fiction and is still a long way off. But let's remember 2 things. The private transport that is such a concern is a tiny part of the climate change problem, and global heavy transport, including ships, has a lot of room for improvement. This is still a long way off, so before we get to this double somersault, a car with a carbon footprint neutral fuel may, paradoxically, be equally or more convenient than an electric car in terms of CO2 emissions, I repeat, during the entire production and life cycle from well to wheel. An illustration against synthetic fuels. See how both the cost and energy factor of setting up a new recharging network, the convenience factor between EV and thermal car, and most importantly, the energy cost of producing an accumulator battery, are eluded. Conclusion. This game is not over yet. In the not-so-distant future, the fight will shift to the use of green energy. Will we use renewables to make battery cells, or will we use it to create CO2 and hydrogen-based fuels that will allow us to have a type of automobile use and distribution network identical to the ones we already have? Do we spend billions on a new economy with all the positives and negatives that entails, or do we radically improve what we already have? The debate will come sooner rather than later. The only certainty is that both factions will have powerful reasons, not only scientific. They will also have economic ones. In time. In conclusion, Synfuels present a promising solution in our transition towards a more sustainable energy future. As we navigate the complexities of electrification, these synthetic fuels offer a versatile and scalable alternative that can complement renewable energy sources. With the potential to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and utilize existing infrastructure, Synfuels could play a crucial role in achieving our climate goals. As we continue to innovate and invest in this technology, Synfuels may indeed become a vital part of our energy landscape, helping to bridge the gap between traditional fossil fuels and a cleaner, electrified world. Thank you for watching, and let's stay hopeful for a greener future.